If you're trying to figure out which procurement software is right for your business, you probably have realized that finding the right solution depends upon your business size, your current procurement needs, and your expected procurement needs, as well as how much you need to scale. Some options are built for small to medium-sized companies, some are just for startups, and some are for global enterprise companies who have maybe a dedicated procurement department and so on. So in this video, I'm going to break down the best procurement software options for 2026 so you can find the right fit for where you are right now. Let's dive in. First of all, if you are a company with 50 to 200 employees, you're probably doing 10 to, I would say, 100 million in revenue. Your problems are probably very different from a startup or an enterprise, large enterprise company. You got multiple departments buying different product or services. You probably have need for different approval workflows. You might have hundreds of vendors that you need to manage and so on. And you're probably seeing a lot of month-end surprises. There are invoices coming in without any approval, and you're probably chasing people and asking who bought this, right? So these are some of the symptoms of mid-sized companies. You probably have tried basic things, right? Emails, Slack messages, text messages, and so on. And now you're looking for I would say, a little bit more stable solution that can scale within your scale as well. That's exactly where ProcureDesk fits in. It is designed for companies at this stage, the ones that have outgrown basic procurement processes, and they're looking for something that they can start with something very simple and scale along as they scale the company. Now, the core idea at this stage is your ability to control spending. You want the spend under control, and also you want an approval workflow process so that there are different people who are accountable for their budgets are reviewing the spend before it happens. Now, the challenge here is you want to make a system in a way that it is easy for end users to use. For example, if you're already used to shopping on Amazon, why give you a different experience? And that's where vendor punch-outs come into picture, which allows you to connect to different vendor websites. So your end users have the exact same experience which they have today, like browsing the website and picking up their favorite list and so on, and then just simply send that information back to the procurement system. So whether it is supplies like Office Depot, or if you are a biotech, then Thermo Fisher, Fisher Scientific, Sigma, and so on, right? Now, it also combines procurement and your AP process so that you're not just have two different systems to deal with. So you have purchasing on one side in terms of controlling your procurement process. You have AP or the vendor invoices now coming in. So you can do a two-way or three-way match and automatically approve invoices that are good to pay or figure out any exceptions that might need to be reviewed. Now, by implementing this end-to-end process, we typically see companies reducing their overall cycle time by 20 to 40%. It gives you better spend control, but it also speed up the month-end close process. One of the clients we recently worked with saw a 30% reduction in their month-end close cycle because their team doesn't have to now chase invoices at the month end or chase approvals at the month end. Now, it also integrates with different accounting systems. So if you're using something like a QuickBooks or like a Sage Intacct or Xero for that matter, or NetSuite or Microsoft Business Central, the data is automatically synced with your accounting system. So you don't have to worry about manually syncing the data or the approved invoices back to your accounting system for payment. It also have the ability to pay vendors from within the platform. So you just have one system from where you can do all that. Now, if you're a growing company, this is exactly built for you and it'll scale along with your scale. Pricing starts from $500 all the way to like $1,000 and go up from there. It comes with 10 users. Now, if you're interested to learn more about ProcureDesk, I'm going to leave a link in the description so that you can click and book a demo with us. Now, let's look at other options. ProcureDesk is not the only option for mid-sized companies, so I want to talk about two other notable players in this space. Number one is Precoro. Precoro is another option that serves mid-sized companies. It has all the key features that you would need, like the requisition, basic features around purchase orders, automated invoice matching, or three-way or two-way invoice matching, and so on. It also has budgeting capabilities. Now, one of the key limitations we have seen is the ability to integrate with different accounting systems. So to make sure that they integrate with the accounting system that you are using. Another provider in this space is Procurify. Procurify is also focused on mid-market, but recently we have seen them going a little bit higher up market towards enterprise, but still a good fit for you to evaluate if you're looking for a solution. It does offer the core purchasing functionality, including a little bit of contract management or like a lightweight contract repository, along with with virtual cards. So if you are looking for a solution that also have built-in virtual cards, this might be a good option to consider. It is though on a little bit on the pricing side. Most of the time we have seen it anywhere starting from $2,000 a month all the way up. So you are probably looking at around $25,000 all the way to $50,000 a year for a solution like that. Now it does have a mobile app and virtual cards and so on. So those are some of the options for mid-sized companies. Again, if you are between 50 to 250 employees, 10 to $100 million in revenue, these are some of the options that you should consider. All right, now let's look at small teams. Or if you're in a tighter budget, let's say if you are a startup, your needs are very different. You're probably doing everything in a email, Slack today, and so on. And that is where the opportunity is to put a lightweight system that gives you the ability to control spend and have a basic, I would say, approval workflow process. So let's look at some of the options there. So the first option for small teams is SpendWise. SpendWise is probably the most affordable solution that you can get in this space. Their pricing starts from, I believe, $9 per user per month. So if you are, a couple of users, I think this is a good option. It does have the basic requisition, connects with your accounting system like QuickBooks. You don't get advanced reporting or catalogs like punch outs, those sort of functionalities. So if you're looking for those options, this is not a good solution. Now, another option here is Tradogram. Tradogram is a little, I would say, higher up or step up from a pricing standpoint. It's around $200 a month. That's where their starting price is. However, they do have a free option as well. So if you're looking for a totally free system, this is it. However, there's a catch. You can only do 5 transactions a month. And again, this is good for testing purpose. You can't use that in production, right? So that's probably what that is meant for. Now, what does it give you as compared to SpendWise, right? So things which you're going to see in Tradogram is the punch outs. So you have basically, in addition to the basic requisition process, you have punch outs. They do have an inventory module as well, a lightweight inventory solution and so on. So a little upgrade from SpendWise, but still, I would say not very expensive as compared to the other solution. So again, if you are a startup, this is probably a good option for you. Now, let's look at the third category, which is enterprise. Now, if you are a large company, maybe hundreds of 1,000 plus employees and so on, you're probably doing more than $100 million in revenue. We consider that as enterprise, right? So if you're an enterprise company, you have different set of requirements. Number one is you probably have a dedicated procurement department. Your requirements might be to have a complete source to pay suite. So what I mean by source to pay. So typically the process all the way from starting a requisition to paying the vendor is called procure to pay. You include the ability to source vendors like through RFPs, or maybe you want to run advanced auctions. That is the sourcing process. So including that upfront process with procure to pay, source to pay. So you're probably looking for solutions like that. So if you're in the enterprise space, there are 2 solutions I would like to recommend you can review and see if it fits the bill. Number one is Coupa. Coupa is probably, leader in the enterprise space with a very comprehensive source to pay platform. It covers AI driven procurement. It covers contract management. It covers sourcing, you name it, including if you are into, supply chain management, warehouse management. It is global solution, right? It covers a lot of things from source to pay. But again, it comes with a price tag, right? So it is powerful, but it will cost you anywhere between 50 to maybe 100,000 or more. I mean, I'm just kind of giving you a starting range, but based on the size of your organization, you probably want to consider maybe a budget of $150,000 to $200,000 a year, plus I would say a lot of implementation cost, including maybe up to $500,000 to $1 million. So that's Coupa. Now, also consider when you go to enterprise space, your implementation cycle is going to be long. So you're not looking at a couple of weeks of implementation. You're looking at a couple of months, maybe a year worth of implementation. So plan accordingly if you are looking into these solutions. The other solution to consider here is SAP Ariba. SAP Ariba is another large vendor in the enterprise space. They are part of SAP. So if you are in a SAP ecosystem, right, you already have SAP in place, you probably want to look at Ariba as well. Again, Ariba offers a very comprehensive source to pay platform. So the functionality is comparable to Coupa. So you probably should be able to compare most of the features, right? Both these solutions have common features that you would need at an enterprise level. Again, the pricing is custom. So you probably want to work with your SAP rep to figure out what's the pricing rate. Now, both of these options that we mentioned are overkill for growing companies, right? But if you are at an enterprise scale and you can spend that kind of money, right, look at these options. So as I said, if you are a growing company between 50 to 250 employees that needs to actually control what is being spent, connect to your accounting system, match the invoices automatically, then ProcureDesk is built for you. You can click the first link in the description to request a demo completely for free. In this, you'll get a full walkthrough of procurement process, including requisitions, approval process, A/B matching, which includes three-way and two-way matching, and how it connects to your accounting system. So again, click the link below to book a demo. And if you want to watch another video about how you can make your life easier or somebody else working in procurement, then watch this one next.